Today, we're building a field guide. A field guide for one of the most, let's be honest, terrifying human experiences out there. Socializing in what can feel like seriously hostile territory.
I mean, let's just start here because who hasn't felt this? That one moment, that one cringy thing you said, and boom, it's living rent-free in your head for the next decade. It's such a universal feeling, and it's exactly why we need to talk about this.
That feeling? That pit in your stomach? It's basically your brain's alarm system going haywire. It kicks in the second you walk into what feels like hostile territory. And I'm not talking about a battlefield. I'm talking about a networking event or a dinner party where you literally don't know a single soul. These places can feel just incredibly intimidating.
But what if you had a map? What if you had a set of tools to get you through? Well, that's exactly what this is. This is your field guide, designed to help you navigate those social landscapes with, a lot more confidence and a whole lot less anxiety. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. We have to understand the terrain. What is it exactly that makes these situations feel so hostile? Well, it usually comes down to how we behave in them, and the fact that social connection, or the lack of it, has some pretty high stakes.
So one of the biggest traps we all fall into has a name: covert avoidance. It sounds kind of technical, but you've totally done this. It's when you do the hard part, you actually show up to the party, but then you immediately retreat. You're physically there, but mentally you've checked out. You're glued to your phone, or you're stuck like glue to the one friend you came with. You're present, but you're totally absent.
And look, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? So I scroll on my phone a little, who cares? But pushing past this discomfort, well, why is it so incredibly important? The consequences are actually a lot bigger than just missing out on a few conversations.
Okay, so the stakes are, wow, they're really, really high. We're not just talking about feeling bad. Chronic loneliness is physically dangerous. We're talking about a seriously increased risk of heart disease, of stroke, of dementia, not to mention higher rates of depression and anxiety. So yeah, social connection isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential.
All right, now that we know why this matters so much, let's get into the strategy. It turns out psychology gives us some incredibly powerful tools that can completely change how we look at these social situations. Think of this next part as building up your situational awareness. Let's start with what is maybe my favorite psychological principle ever, the mere exposure effect. This is such a game changer. All it means is that we are all unconsciously wired to like people and things just because they're familiar. The more someone sees you, the more they will automatically start to like you. It just takes so much pressure off, right?
And this isn't just a theory. Check this out. In a classic study, a woman went to a bunch of college classes. At the end of it all, the students rated her. And get this, the woman who showed up to 15 classes was liked 20% more than the one who didn't go to any. And the wildest part, she never said a single word to them. Just being there, just showing up, does a huge chunk of the work for you.
And here is another piece of psychological armor for you. It's called the liking gap. And what it means is that after we have a conversation with someone new, we almost always systematically underestimate how much they actually liked us. That nagging inner voice telling you that you were boring or you were awkward, science says that voice is basically a liar. People probably think you're way cooler than you do. Okay, so we've got the psychology on our side. Now let's focus on your single greatest tool in any social situation: your own body. Your nonverbal signals are screaming things about you before you ever open your mouth. So let's start thinking of your body language as your shield. And the difference here is, well, it's night and day. On the left, you've got the closed stance. Arms crossed, body angled away, looking down. It's basically a giant nonverbal do not disturb sign. But on the right, you have an open stance. It's so simple, but it signals confidence. It signals that you're approachable. It's a welcome mat for conversation. So how do you pull it off? It is so much easier than you think. First, uncross everything: your arms, your legs. Second, stand up or sit up straight. Good posture just radiates confidence. 3, point your body towards the action, not the exit. 4, let your shoulders drop. We carry so much tension there. And 5, the most powerful tool of all, just smile. It's universal for I'm friendly. Okay, your body language is open, it's inviting, someone is walking towards you. Oh no, now what do you say? Let's move into verbal tactics, because I want you to remember this. Conversation isn't some magic talent you're either born with or you're not. It is a skill, and you can learn it. This is maybe one of the most useful techniques I have ever come across. It's called conversation threading. So instead of panicking about what to say next, You just listen, actively listen, for the different topics or threads in what the other person is saying. So if someone says, I just got back from a really busy work trip to Chicago, boom, you have threads. You can ask about their work, you can ask about travel, or you can ask about Chicago. You just pick a thread and pull.
Now, just as important as starting a conversation is knowing how to get out of one without being awkward. This is the SAT method, and it is your new best friend. First, S for sandwich. Start with something positive. It's been so great hearing about your trip. Next, A for and. State your reason. And I should probably go grab a drink. Finally, T for thank. Thanks so much for the chat. It's polite, it's clear, and it leaves things on a really high note.
We've covered all the external stuff, your body, your words, but let's be real. The biggest battles are almost always fought on the inside, right? So let's talk about mastering the inner game.
Does that sound familiar? For so many of us, this is the story we tell ourselves. It's the voice in our heads that says, you're the quiet one, you're the awkward one. And that internal monologue, that's often the real enemy here.
But here's the good news. You can rewrite that script. This table is basically a cheat sheet for your brain. So, when your brain starts screaming, I have nothing to say, you make a mindset shift. I'm just here to learn and listen. And your tactical response? Ask a question. When you start thinking, I'm going to look so stupid, you shift. You know what? Mistakes make me human. They make me relatable. And that big one? Everyone is judging me. The shift? They are probably just as nervous as I am. And that's your cue to be the hero and go talk to someone else who looks a little lost.
Really, the ultimate goal here is to just embrace the awkwardness. Stop trying to have the perfect, witty, flawless conversation. It doesn't exist. Real, genuine human connection is built in those messy, imperfect, slightly awkward moments. A little flub doesn't make you a failure, it just makes you real.
So, let's do a quick debrief. What are the big takeaways from our field guide? Number 1, your body language speaks volumes, so use an open stance. Number 2, remember the liking gap. People probably like you way more than you think. 3, conversation is a skill you can build, not something you're stuck with. And finally, a graceful exit is your secret weapon. You've got the map now. You've got the tools. That hostile territory doesn't seem quite so hostile anymore, does it? It's really just a landscape full of potential friends and connections. So the only question left is, which conversation are you going to choose to start?